Primetime local news, serving the Lakeland and Midwest regions.
Hello everyone, hope you had a great Monday. Thank you so much for joining us here on Primetime Local News, Monday edition. Felt warmer out there today.
It did actually, yeah, that's true.
Yeah, yesterday my car wouldn't start, and let me tell you, that wind hurt. I was almost in tears. It was painful this winter. We are going to get into your weather details shortly, and Brett is also talking about weather clothing as we are in this cold snap, and it is going to be lingering on for a little bit. We're also talking naps at work. Our question of the day, would you take advantage of a nap room at your employer? Because more Canadian employers are recommending nap room. I would take advantage.
Of course, who wouldn't, really?
22% of people on our poll, which I don't understand, but we'll get into that conversation in just a little bit. But first, let's go check in with Brett.
We're here at Grinding Gears, where we often hear just how much you need to dress for the weather, but what exactly does that mean? And Jim joins us now to talk a little bit about what that does mean. And let's start off just with our top half here with our jackets and such. So what are the main things that we need to remember when we're trying to stay warm for? I mean, we have a polar vortex out there.
Yeah, when you're dressing for outside, especially this time of year, it's not just about keeping the wind and the rain off you. It's more about keeping you warm from the inside out. So we offer a variety of selection of jackets that will keep you warm from the inside, but also keep the wind off you. And that's really the biggest thing, is keeping the elements out.
Now, there's one just here that you mentioned, is this one that has kind of an inner lining to it. How does that make a difference, and what are maybe some things that you want to keep in mind when you're getting a jacket like this?
Like a jacket like this, instead of just being a shell, not only is the outside really protective, it'll keep the snow and the wind out, but between 60 and 80 grams of insulation in the body and the sleeves will also keep you nice and warm.
And when it comes to just maybe some other jackets, maybe you're not necessarily able to get an inner lining, what are some things that you can remember to make sure that you are staying warm with those layers?
Well, with any kind of ski and snowboard jacket that's out there, the biggest thing is the outside. And they really try to make sure that the outside of the jacket is going to keep the elements out. And so whether it's a shell or an insulated jacket, it's all about the outside.
Perfect. We'll have a little bit more coming up from here at Grinding Gears. But let's head back into the studio where Michaela has a look at your weather.
All right, thank you so much, Brett. Coming in handy, those tips, as we are sitting at minus 25 out there currently, feeling about minus 30 with that wind chill, and that's going to be the number first thing in the morning. As we look to our satellite radar, a couple of patches of some scattered flurries throughout the area, which we have been seeing in and out of the area, and 30% chance we could see that come back into play this evening. Areas like Lac La Biche, Cold Lake, but a 60% chance those flurries will come back through that area. As we look to our watches and warnings, as you can see, a lot of Alberta still under that extreme cold warning. We are doing better than we were last week, especially yesterday with that wind chill. Very cold out there in Saskatchewan, mostly out of the cold warning as of now. Sitting at minus 25 here in the border city, minus 20 in Meadow Lake, a little bit warmer at minus 18 in Prince Albert, minus 17 currently in Melfort, and then on the Alberta side, minus 23 in Edmonton, minus 22 for Red Deer, minus 18 in Edson, Jasper at minus 20, minus 21 in Athabasca, with Cold Lake at minus 21 right now. Cold Lake going to dip down 2 degrees overnight, minus 28 overnight. Going to feel cooler than that with that wind chill in effect. Risk of frostbite both this evening and into the early hours of tomorrow morning. Minus 22 is the daytime high there tomorrow. In Cold Lake, 60% chance some scattered flurries could come throughout the area overnight. Minus 27 is the overnight low. Feeling closer to that minus 31 mark, and then minus 19. So getting into the teens tomorrow. Minus 28 here in the border city overnight. Minus 22 is our daytime high tomorrow. Or yes, daytime high with a low hitting minus 28, and that's going to come into effect in the early hours of the morning. Minus 22 on Wednesday with minus 21 on Thursday. Both overnight lows hitting minus 29. Their averages for this time of the year are minus 7 and minus 17. So although we are warming up, we are still nowhere near those averages, and we are expecting some snow on the weekend. I'll have those details for you coming up in just a little bit.
Primetime local news, serving the Lakeland and Midwest regions.
Welcome back. Wade Redden and Jordan Tutu made their way to the border city today to talk to students about their journey through the National Hockey League while fighting their battle with mental illness. Our Brett Holden has the story.
Students at E.S. Laird Middle School packed the gymnasium as two former NHLers, Wade Redden and Jordan Tutu, came to talk about their stories through the NHL.
Oh, I think it's really important, the message we kind of relay and, try to send some positive, message to them. And in this age that we're in those shoes too, and we kind of, in the cultural day that they're doing here and kind of the recognition they're doing that way, we try to connect ourselves with our upbringing and how proud we are of where we're from.
E.S. Laird is celebrating an Aboriginal Culture Day, and Jordan Tutu is the first ever NHL player from Nunavut and the first ever Indigenous NHLer.
We've been running a cultural day here at E.S. Laird for the past 7-8 years, and we've been proud of it every year, but to have them speak today was very special.
Jordan Tutu battled with mental illness issues during his career in the NHL, losing his brother when he was 19 and battling an alcohol addiction. Tutu says being able to speak about his battles is something that is very important to him.
I've learned in my lifetime that you can't do it all by yourself. You got to be able and willing to ask for help and get advice from other people. And I think that's one thing that I really want a lot of the kids to know, that when you're open and honest and communicate, life seems to be a little bit better.
8 years into Tutu's career, he entered the NHL Substance Abuse and Behavioral Health Program, a decision Tutu says was a tough one to make, but he has been sober since.
Years went on and getting help and advice from professionals, it taught me that the more you express yourself, breaking the barriers of being closed and kind of shut yourself off from the real world is not the right way. We just want to give you guys hope.
Brett Holden, Primetime Local News.
And today, the Lloydminster Rotary Club hosted Laura Lee Marin, who talked about the Alberta Provincial Cancer Advisory Council. The council looks at improving cancer career for Albertans and developing new cancer treatments. One of the ways they are doing this is with the province's 2030 plan.
Along with community partners, created this Cancer Plan 2030 to look at how we can change the face of cancer for in the next 20 years. And so in that is itemized what we can do in terms of prevention, supportive care, treatments.
The council also goes into communities to get feedback from Albertans about how they can improve people's care.
One of the initial feedback we received was that it was really hard to navigate services when you had a cancer diagnosis. And so the response to that has been the implementation of 15 cancer patient navigators that help people manage their appointments, connect to the right supports that they need to, and help them with paperwork.
The council has also made sharing information between doctors easier by making testing easier on patients. And Lakeland College is preparing for the 7th annual President's Gala in April. Completely run by students, the President's Gala is put on to raise money for those who are unable to afford tuition.
Well, the reason why students don't, the first and most important reason why students don't attend the post-secondary system is because 1 out of 6 students, although they've been accepted, can't afford to come to this college.
By holding this gala, Lakeland is able to give up to 25 students bursaries so they can attend school.
Last year, if I look at the outcome of the 2017-2018 gala, we raised $72,000, and it all went into the student bursary, which is the SOS, which is Support Our Students Enhanced Bursary.
This year's gala will be held on April 4th, and tickets are available through Lakeland College or on eventbrite.ca. And the housing market is constantly changing, and in this week's retrospect, I take a look at where it was 10 years ago and where it is now.
December left a belated lump of coal under the Christmas tree for most Canadian retailers, as sales plummeted 5.4% nationally from 2007, with the auto industry taking the biggest hit, except, it seems, in Lloydminster.
Our sales are roughly the same as last year.
The reason for the smooth ride? A shift in customer demands.
We're seeing more private people buying and maybe more used vehicles selling and a few less new, but overall the dealership's still selling vehicles.
Even in the housing industry, 2009 prospects remain bright, despite a 40% sales dip in January.
We are in a different economy compared to all the larger markets that are out there. The good thing about with their market right now is the interest rates are amazing. It's a good time for the buyers to buy. There is an excellent selection out there for them to choose from.
Currently, with what the economy is now, the housing market is a buyer's market.
Some value out there. The economy has been, let's say, less than optimistic the last number of years. So you've got maybe an excess of product, which means that we soften up prices. So buyers are definitely looking right now, and they're looking for value.
Something that has also seen a shift is how many people are now choosing to rent since the stress test was implemented. When
the federal government put the stress test in for mortgages, it basically took some people out of the buying process or severely crimped what they could afford. Right. So pre-qualification is a big one. If you can get pre-qualified, and then we find out from the client how much they can spend, we go out and shop in that amount.
That's it for this week's Retrospect.
Retrospect this week is brought to you by Webb's Ford. Worth your while to drive the extra mile. Webb's Ford in Vermilion.
And now we're going to take a look at your stock market prices for today.
We restore more than just property. We restore hope. When disaster strikes, call the one that can make it right. First General Services, your property restoration experts.
Welcome back. Well, passing on the family farm is an important aspect of preserving legacy, and Gerard Lampeau meets a lawyer who is encouraging producers to take the time for this conversation.
Is that a gift now? Is it intended to be a gift later?
Women have always been a big part of farm operations and are continuing to grow their presence on farms, and so it was really fun to get together with a group of women and talk about all things related to agriculture.
Kaylee Shire grew up on a grain farm near Mervyn, Saskatchewan. She studied commerce and law at the U of A and has worked in Edmonton. She's back in Lloydminster to be closer to family. She was speaking to rural women on estate planning and farm transition.
Everybody should have a valid will and a power of attorney and a healthcare directive or personal directive, and they need to have a farm transition plan that is in writing. So to sit down with your family and make sure that everybody understands and you've got good tax advice and legal advice on that, and everybody's got it nailed down in writing and understanding what the plan is.
Shire admits everyone's plan is different. It's also harder to agree, and with emotions involved, there are things that still need to be said in a rational manner.
I think one of the biggest problems that I see that makes farm transition planning a difficult process is that people have put it off for a long time, and different members of the farm family have come to arrive at different expectations about what's going to happen. The longer you let that go on, the harder it is to come up with a plan that everybody can agree with. So sometimes farm families come in and they're all in agreement and they have really good communication and they know exactly what they want to do. Other farm families come in and they can't even sit at the table together, and there's a lot of work that has to go into bringing everybody together before we can get a good plan in place.
Finding common ground is also complicated if it happens to be during a family crisis.
The more you can plan ahead, the better, and you don't want to have to be dealing with lawyers and accountants in the middle of a stressful situation when somebody's gotten hurt or somebody's passed away unexpectedly. So if you can do this while you're in good health and you're in a good place, then that makes the process a whole lot easier.
Shire has this advice even if you don't know where to start.
Pick somebody who is an advisor that you trust and you know well, and reach out to them and let them know that you want to start to do some planning, whether it's your lawyer or your accountant or your banker or even an insurance agent sometimes. And that person will probably know where to start and at least be able to connect you with somebody that can help you get your farm transition planning going smoothly.
Gerard Lampeau, Primetime Local News.
And that's your egg news. Sports is next, but first we'll take a look at your egg prices.
Every member of the City Centre Auto Body team has been through extensive training. We're constantly upgrading our team's education to reflect current collision repair technique.
Taking a look at local sports now, after nearly a month between games, the PWM Steelers returned to their winning ways at the Service Sports Centre, sweeping the Red Deer Sutter Fund Chiefs. The Steelers dominated Saturday's 3-1 win, outshooting the Red Deer 33-17. The following afternoon, they started behind before pulling ahead 2-1 early in the third period. This improves the team to 19-5-1, 11 points back of first place St. Albert, and that will be the Steelers' next opponent at the Service Sports Centre on Sunday afternoon. And the losses continued on the road for Lloydminster's junior hockey teams. The Bandits dropped their final 2 regular season games, while the Bobcats were swept on one of the toughest road trips of the season. And the Cats began with a blowout loss against the Brooks Bandits, a team that hasn't lost since November. Saturday did feature some bounce back from the team in a 3-2 overtime loss. However, the team ran out of gas on Sunday against the Calgary Canucks, losing 5-2. The Cats have just 2 wins thus far in 2019. And the Wrestlers Club Volleyball has their first hardware of the 2019 season. The 15U Women Green team took home tier gold at the Sask Cup tournament. The group is one of the multi-wrestler teams competing at the tournament. The 16U White team also placed 6th in tier 2. And now we're going to go to Brett Holden on location.
Jim joins us once again here at Grindin' Gears, and we're going to be talking a little bit now about accessories when you're trying to stay warm. Everyone thinks of mittens, but that's not always the case or the best case there for you as well.
Yeah, mittens and gloves are the first thing that everybody puts on, but everybody knows that you lose most of your heat through your head and your face. So we always try to encourage people to go one step further, grab that extra accessory. An air hole face mask is probably one of the biggest things we've sold this year because it's going to protect your face, your ears, your mouth, and let you stay outside longer.
Now, you mentioned as well just that it's not necessarily people who are coming in and grabbing the face mask who are skiers or snowboarders, but just people who are wanting to go outside.
Exactly. An item like this is super comfortable. You can wear it for jogging, for biking, for walking the dog, shoveling, all those types of things. I wear my face mask pretty much every day.
So let's talk about now some of the face masks. You have this Polar Freeze here. What are maybe some things that you're really looking for when you're getting a face mask?
So this one is a full hinged hoodie, or full hinged hood. So you can pull it down when you're wearing it, so you can still talk. But it also has a full covered face mask with a breathe hole, so you're not going to fog up your glasses or your goggles when you're wearing it. But it is a nice thick polar fleece that's going to keep your head warm.
Perfect. We'll have a little bit more coming up from here at Grindin' Gears. We're talking about staying warm. What exactly does it mean, especially in a polar vortex like we have going on here in Lloydminster and our area? So we'll be talking a little bit more about that. But first, let's head back into the studio where Michaela will be talking about just how long this polar vortex will be staying around with us.
All right, thank you, Brett. Unfortunately, we are in for another week of cold temperatures, not as cold as last week, thankfully. Starting it off with this weather shot that was sent to us. If you have a photo of the weather, do send it in to us. We'd love to showcase it here on Primetime Local News. To our watches and warnings now. As you can see, it's not a whole purple map, mostly just in the west. Currently, Alberta, Edmonton, Vegreville, Wainwright, Provost, and Lloydminster currently under an extreme cold warning as those temperatures do continue across most of the province. Saskatchewan, it is starting to warm up. A lot of that extreme cold warning has been lifted in the area. Minus 25 here in the border city, minus 24 in Vermilion, minus 27 for Vegreville, rather, minus 23 in Edmonton. And then as we move up the map, minus 27 for St. Paul, minus 21 in Bonnyville. Cold Lake also at minus 21, minus 20 for Lac La Biche. 60% chance these areas up here north of Lloydminster could be seeing some scattered flurry activity continue on throughout the evening. Minus 20 up in St. Walburg, minus 22 in Maidstone, minus 26 in North Battleford, with as we move up north, even warmer at minus 19 up in Isle Cross. Further north, though, numbers sitting in the teens in some areas, which is significantly warmer than the minus 30s they were in last week. So minus 19 for La Loche currently. Also in Buffalo Narrows, a little bit warmer at minus 17 in La Ronge. Flin Flon sitting at minus 19 currently. Fort McMurray minus 16, Grand Prairie minus 20, and Peace River sitting at minus 26. As we look further down south, they're actually colder than the north for one, so minus 27 in Lethbridge, minus 22 in Calgary, and then as we look out east, minus 18 in Regina, also in Estevan with Moose Jaw sitting at minus 21 currently. We're going to get a little bit warmer tomorrow, starting off a little bit cooler, starting around minus 31 with that wind chill, but daytime high going to reach minus 22. Minus 22 is also the daytime high tomorrow in North Battleford, minus 21 for Macklin. St. Paul going to hit minus 22, a little bit warmer at minus 20 in Bonnyville, and then into the teens for Lac La Biche at minus 19 tomorrow, and also in Cold Lake. Here's a look at your sunny forecast, so at least we have the sunshine going for us. Minus 28 first thing in the morning, going to feel closer to that minus 31 mark with that wind chill. Recess time, minus 26, and then we'll warm up to minus 23 over the lunch hour. We'll stay there when the kids head home from school. Minus 22 our daytime high, minus 28 the overnight low, really coming into play in the early hours of Tuesday morning. Wednesday, minus 22 yet again, a little bit cooler for the overnight low, hitting minus 29, and that's going to continue on until Thursday. And then Friday, we could see about a centimeter fall possibly into the evening as those scattered flurries continue into Saturday. Minus 19 there, 75% chance we'll see 1 to 3 centimeters of snowfall on Saturday. Sunday, warmer at minus 18, minus 24 for the overnight low, and then next Monday, a mix of sun and clouds with the temperature reaching minus 23. Averages for this time of the year, minus 7 and minus 17. So while we are warming up, we are still below the seasonal average.
And now we're going to go to Brett Holden on location.
Jim joins us once again here at Grindin' Gears, and this time we're talking a little bit about your footwear, making sure that you are staying safe and warm for the winter. And what are the main things that you want to remember when it comes to staying safe with your footwear here?
Well, not only warmth, obviously, we've been talking about that, but comfort. Comfort is the big one, so keeping your feet comfortable and warm is something that we aim for.
Now, with warmth, let's talk about the main thing when it comes to making sure that A, it's comfortable, and B, that it is going to be warm for you.
Yeah, so warmth in a boot like this, not only is the lower half protected, it's going to be a waterproof, fully waterproof lower in the boot, but it's got a fully thick, thin slate inside that's going to keep you warm.
Perfect. And now let's talk about safety when it comes to your footwear. And you're mentioning the shoes that you're wearing are these exact shoes. And there's something special about these shoes here.
Yeah, so a company like this, they teamed up with Michelin. It's a Michelin X Ice sole. So just like you get on your car tires, this sole, when you step on ice, it gets you a ton of grip to keep you safe in conditions like this.
And when it comes to just making sure that you are picking out the right shoes, let's talk about that.
So size is important. We get a lot of people that come in when they're looking for a shoe. They try to get it nice and loose, but one thing to understand is a lot of footwear breaks in. It'll loosen up, and so we try to get a nice snug fit and let the inside liner kind of do its job by keeping you warm.
And when it comes to cold weather and making sure you are...
Yeah. Cold weather in a big one like this is one big friend to your shoe is going to be a nice warm sock or something nice fitting. So a nice inside wool sock or performance sock can make all the world of difference.
Perfect. We'll have a little bit more coming up from here at Grindin' Gears, but let's head back into the studio where Michaela and Elise will be talking about your question of the day.
All right, well, an article over the weekend says that Canadian employers are encouraging naps. So we want to know if your work had a nap room, would you utilize it? We put up a poll saying 77% of you weighing in at yes. Now, I would definitely be in that. I may have taken a nap here even though we don't have a nap room.
We have a couch.
Hopefully the boss isn't watching. I think it makes me more productive throughout the day. I can understand why people would want a nap.
Oh, for sure. My only thing is, I'm all for it. My only thing is I take too long of naps. I can't do like a quick 10, 15 minute nap.
Yeah,
and
I'm not a power napper.
Yeah.
I need a full 3 hour nap minimum.
Exactly.
Yeah, let's get one of those here.
Okay.
I'll just doze off for 3 hours.
Okay,
There we go.
perfect.
Yeah. All right. We always ask a question of the day. You can weigh in on our social media pages, but right now let's switch gears to our pets of the day. Look at this. This is Jagger. So cute. I love this
So
picture.
cozy.
Yeah, that was sent to us by Lisa. Unreal. This one's Lou. Lou is ready for dinner. Me too, Lou. Very cute.
Yeah.
That was sent to us by Brittany. Next up, we have Kato. Look at this handsome guy.
I love
He
this
looks like a nice little English butler.
Yeah.
Look at him. He's so proper. That was sent to us by Randy. Next up, we have Shorty. Shorty is loving the snow. I love this name
Very
for a little
cute.
corgi. That was sent to us by Madison. And Rosie, not enjoying the snow like Shorty is. That was sent to us by Tanya. I love the stands here.
Yeah.
If you have a pet you would like to see here on Primetime Local News, send us a picture on any of our social media platforms. Please include your pet's name. And if they are shown on the show, you'll be entered to win a $50 gift card to the Lloydminster Pet Pad.
We want to see your pets. Send photos of your pet and their name to our Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram to have them featured on Pet of the Day. Your name will be entered into a weekly draw for a gift certificate from the Pet Pad.
Well, if you're looking to get outdoors this weekend, there is an event coming up on Sunday. Now joined with Brian Robinson from the Lloydminster Cross Country Ski Club. Want to thank you so much. Here to talk about, now this is, I'm having some trouble with the name here, the 2019 Poplar Bluff Classic Loppet.
That is correct.
Perfect. All right, so what is a Loppet? Because before today, I didn't even know what it was.
Okay. Well, Loppet is it's a fun cross-country ski event where they ski long distances. Usually includes refreshments. Some areas the skiers are timed.
Okay.
And a Loppet, it's a series in Saskatchewan or all over where there's cross-country skiing where you can ski different trails and meet different people in different areas of the province.
Awesome. All right, so we have one coming up this weekend on Sunday. So what are the details of it and where's it taking place?
Well, it's taking place at our Poplar Bluff ski area, east of Lloydminster, east on 303. You can find the directions on our website, which is the Lloydminster CrossCountrySkiClub.com. And there's an entry form on there that you can print off or get the directions as well to register.
Perfect. So do you have to be an experienced cross-country skier to take part in the Loppet?
You don't. We have different distances. There's a 3 kilometer, a 5 kilometer, and a 10 kilometer distance. And you know, the 3 and the 5 kilometer is all pretty flat through the trees, so anybody can come out and do it.
Awesome. And is there a way for people to rent equipment, or do they have to bring their own to the event?
Well, actually, we do have lots of equipment. We just got some new equipment for adults and some kids' equipment here in the last week that'll be out there for rent. So people are more than welcome to come out and rent some equipment.
Awesome. So what time does the event get started, and can people sign up day of?
We can sign up the day of. It starts at 10 o'clock Central Time, which is 9 o'clock Alberta time.
Okay.
And the ski starts at 11 o'clock Central, which is 10 o'clock Lloydminster time.
Yes, gotta make sure you know that time change.
Yeah, you betcha. So
yeah.
it's an early start, 9 o'clock registration, Mountain or Lloydminster time.
Yeah.
Yep.
And so once people are there, so after the event, how long does it usually take to complete the tracks there?
The 10 kilometer will take you probably an hour or so. So once you're done your skiing, we have a clubhouse out there that's heated, and we'll have a nice chilly lunch and coffee and hot chocolate and probably some dainties and cookies for the participants.
Awesome. And is there a cost to join?
The cost is $25 for an adult. Students are 15 and under, and a family is $75.
All right. So good family activity to do on Sunday. And you're saying you'll make the decision as of Wednesday whether the weather is permitting.
Yes, with the cold weather we've had recently, we will decide by Wednesday. And if we do postpone it, we'll put that on our website, as well as the Cross Country Saskatchewan website as well, so people can find out if it's a go on Wednesday or Thursday.
Awesome. All right. Well, thank you so much, Brian. For anyone looking for more information, where's the best place for them to go?
Just do our website is a good one. And on the entry form, there's a couple of our executive members' names and phone numbers that they can give a call and get more information.
Awesome. All right. Well, if you're looking for something to do, definitely check out the 2019 Lapet this weekend. Loppet.
Loppet.
Loppet. There we go. I got it. All right. Thank you so much, Brian, for coming in. Tell us all about this.
Thanks for having me here.
Furniture set and design supplied by Furniture Gallery and Furniture House, downtown Lloydminster.
Welcome back to Primetime Local News. Josh and Buck in studio again. One more local topic to touch on, and that is on the Lakeland Rustlers. It was a bye week this weekend, but a couple of very important matchups with the Nate Ooks this weekend for the basketball volleyball teams, especially with men's volleyball, little bit sketchy waters playoff-wise, and then women's basketball, interesting situation as well.
You know, it's an exciting time because before Christmas we were talking that all 4 court teams had a shot to make the playoffs the first time in school history. So we're getting close to that. The girls volleyball team or basketball team needs a little bit of help. They need to win, and they also need some help because it's kind of a juggling act who's going to finish where. But the men's volleyball team, they need to win. And it'll mean so much to that program. And I know talking to the Dyer boys, and when you're recruiting, when you win, it helps you recruit. Some of the times the players come to you instead of you going to there. So if you have all 4 court teams qualifying for the playoffs at Lakeland, it's going to be a good off season for all 4 of those teams recruiting.
And it's obviously a gut-wrenching situation to be in that situation because of where they were a couple of weeks ago with a 4-win advantage, but the fact is their destiny is still in their hands. They win both matches this weekend. It doesn't matter what the Kings Eagles can do, and they will be in. It's just a tough matchup against a very strong Nate Ooks team. We're going to jump over to pro sports really quickly, which is a field of your expertise, certainly the CFL. We have a couple of big names coming up in free agency at the most important position at quarterback.
Yeah, free agency starts tomorrow in the CFL, and it's going to be an interesting free agency. The number 1 player that's on everybody's lips is Mike Riley. Is he going to re-sign with the Eskimos? Is he going to the BC Lions? And there's a team in Saskatchewan looking for a quarterback. And the Riders can pay a lot of money. And the interesting thing, if he doesn't go there and he goes to BC, the other guy that could be the wild card in this is Bo Levi Mitchell. Whether or not he goes to the NFL, stays there, or if he comes back to the Canadian Football League and takes a local discount with the Calgary Stampeders, because that's the other way to call it, or else he play with the Saskatchewan Roughriders. Can you imagine Bo Levi Mitchell, a Rough Rider? Wow, that would be interesting.
That would be interesting. And it's, I think, an interesting situation to think of an Eskimos team without Mike Riley.
Where do they go from there?
You can't think of a lot of pro athletes in either Calgary or Edmonton over the past 20 years that have meant as much to a city as that guy has. I mean, you outside of Connor McDavid, what athlete is there?
Yeah, you know, it'd be interesting to see if the Eskimos are talking, you know, if he does not sign there, they'll have to look at it. So the Eskimos are thinking there's a chance he may not come back. So I think the Eskimos are prepared for it. Who that replacement's going to be is going to be interesting.
Absolutely. Now, before we get out of here, we have about a minute left. Another big weekend coming up on, or not big week rather, coming up on the Tuesday Night Sports Show.
Tuesday Night Sports Show on Real Country 95.9 between 6 and 9, live from the Canadian Brewhouse. We'll be joined by Jordan Tutu. Jordan was in town earlier today. He'll join us talking about what he's doing. He's retired since October, and also joining us our NHL insider Wade Redden, who was along with that visit. And also Pete Lubardius from Sportsnet. He's down in Tampa Bay getting ready for the Flames and the Lightning game, and he'll preview that as well as look ahead to the NHL trading deadline not that far away. And also we'll talk CFL free agency with Don Hewitt from CTV in Regina.
Yeah, never a sleeping moment in the sports scene. We got free agency in football, just finished a trade deadline in basketball, got another trade deadline coming up in hockey, and locally, as we said earlier, more hockey on the way, but also a very big weekend for Rustlers Athletics starting Friday night with the Nate Ooks at 6 p.m. Myself and Buck, thank you. We'll have more on Primetime Local News.
Well, we're talking a little bit about tires here at Grindin' Gears and making sure that you are dressing appropriately for the weather. And when I bring up tires, I don't mean the ones that are here on the bikes at Grindin' Gears. I'm talking about some of the ones that are on the bottom of these shoes. As Jim mentioned during the show, that these shoes do have Michelin tires on the bottom of them, so you are staying safe while you are outside. We talked a little bit about making sure that you are dressing appropriately and what exactly that means, so make sure that while this polar vortex is here, you are dressing appropriately. That'll do it for me here at Grindin' Gears. Tomorrow, I will be at the TJ's Pizza Eating Competition, and we'll see just how much I'll be able to eat, possibly, if I get in on some of the action, and we'll see how that goes. So that'll do it for me here tonight. Let's head back into the studio where Michaela and Elise will wrap up tonight's show.
All right, thank you so much, Brett. We are going to warm up a little bit over the next week here. Minus 22 tomorrow. We have a 30% chance we could see some scattered flurries throughout the evening hours. Minus 28 is the overnight low. Going to really come into play in the early morning hours, feeling like minus 31 with a risk of frostbite both this evening and tomorrow morning. Minus 22 on Wednesday, and then warming up from there. Minus 21 on Thursday, minus 19 on Friday and Saturday. Saturday we could see 1 to 3 centimeters of snowfall, but the teens are going to feel like a significant warm-up compared to the minus 35s and 50s and everything.
Warm for the long weekend.
Exactly.
Warmer. Yeah.
Perfect. Anyways, we'll leave it there. We'll see you guys tomorrow here on Primetime Local News. Have a good night.